Good morning and welcome to County Executive Stuart Pittman's virtual press conference. Today, the County Executive will announce the Director of the new Office of Equity and Human Rights and provide updates on county operations and initiatives. I will take questions after the updates. As always, please keep your camera and microphone off unless you are called upon for questions. With that, Mr. County Executive.
All right, thank you, Renisha. We haven't done these in a bit, but welcome to happy fiscal year 2024. July 1st was the new fiscal year began in Anne Arundel County, and that means that things that we put into our budget are happening already. Probably the one that most of our workforce is the most excited about is an 8% increase between their 5% cost of living and merit pay. For most, it varies by union, but and for our school system workforce, that raise is well deserved, particularly and needed. Also, really thrilled that we've got a starting salary for this coming school year of over $58,000 for our educators, for our teachers. So we believe that was a last minute change in the budget that will help to fill the vacant positions that we have in our school system this year. Also, new positions that are police, fire department, and all across government now are going to be posted, and I'm going to talk about a few of those. And I'm particularly excited about the fact that having just passed 7-0, the adequate public facilities law that will really open up the parts of our county that have been closed to residential development, make it possible to implement our Plan 2040 with the workforce housing component of that, to build the housing where we say we want to do it according to our smart growth plan. Now that bill is passed and school redistricting comes next and is part of that whole package. So we look forward to all of that. I do want to say something before I talk about the three positions that we're about to hire for, about the Supreme Court challenge to college and university efforts to create diversity in this country. And it's scary to see. And there are equity, diversity, and inclusion programs shutting down at universities, particularly in states where state legislatures are also opposed to those efforts. And so I want to say that in Anne Arundel County, our slogan that we have at the entrance to the county and all of our roads is the best place for all. And when we say for all, we mean that we work to create opportunity for folks who have been left behind. And some of those folks are protected classes, and some people will suggest that the Supreme Court ruling challenges that work. We shall see. But in this budget, we have done a number of things to actually grow that work and prove that it's effective. And we have for veterans who have specific needs and need opportunity to be created for them, we have a new position within the Department of Aging and Disabilities to manage our new Veterans Support Center, so that veterans can connect to services and be given opportunity that way. We have a new position managing the new Office of Hispanic, Latino, and Multicultural Affairs, another group that has specific needs that we want to make sure connect to opportunity in our county. And then overall, overseeing a lot of this work, we have reorganized and elevated the new Office of Equity and Human Rights. And the new director for that office, starting this fiscal year just now, is Asha Smith. And I do want Asha to say a few things about what this office is going to do and some of the goals and how you, Asha, perceive this environment that we're working in.
Thank you so much, Mr. County Executive. First, I just want to thank you for the opportunity to serve the people of Anne Arundel County and for your vision and support as we establish this new Office of Equity and Human Rights. You have a keen insight into the climate in which we're working. Those who have done this work tirelessly for years with or without a title know that public service work and work like this is a marathon, it's not a sprint, especially in challenging times like this. So I look forward to running the next mile of this race together. I'm the second person who's going to serve in this capacity. I have to thank Pete Hill, our first director, for laying the foundation on which we're going to build. Our new office, the Office of Equity and Human Rights, is charged with ensuring equal access to the rights and privileges of living, working, visiting, and doing business in Anne Arundel County. The office upholds existing federal, state, and local anti-discrimination laws. It further supports the county's development of policies, programs, and procedures to embed equity, diversity, and inclusion into its operations. The office will be staffed with an assistant director, a full-time investigator, and an administrative coordinator. The assistant director position is currently posted on governmentjobs.com. It's actually open. We're hiring. And the investigator position will be posted in the near future. Among other things, the office will coordinate compliance with anti-discrimination laws, manage complaints of discrimination, support agencies and partners in the equitable delivery of services, evaluate programs and initiatives, make policy recommendations, conduct training and outreach to increase compliance with laws, and support the Human Relations Commission's mandate to promote and enhance the ability of all county residents to pursue their lives free of discrimination. We very much look forward to the work that we will accomplish together. Thank you.
Thank you, Asha. And when we take questions, Asha will also be available to answer some. Final thing I want to say before we turn it over for questions is a new series of events coming to Anne Arundel County. This is something that I have been advocating for since I first came into office, to allow all of our residents access to the Chesapeake Bay and experience the Chesapeake Bay and its tributaries. So starting this Sunday at Quiet Waters Park will be the first Anne Arundel County River Day, first of a series of river days that will take place. And it will be at Quiet Waters Park. And this will be, the first one will be smaller than the ones after it. We are specifically targeting underserved families who may not have been on the water. And we did that in partnership with Anne Arundel County Public Schools. And so it includes boat rides. This first one, the boat rides are already all called for. 150 people signed up in the first few hours. We will be expanding the number of boats in the future for the future river days. But Watermark Charters is providing their Miss Anne for rides around the river. There will be commentary from Arundel Rivers Federation about water quality. There will be information about the history of the river. The fireboat will be there. There'll be tours on our fireboat. Story times from Anne Arundel County Public Library, kayak lessons, face painting, games, crafts, and the Great Naptown Brass for live music and food. So come on out to Quiet Waters this Sunday, 10 to 2. We'll be doing it again at Quiet Waters on August 27th from 10 to 2 and have additional boats for that. And then the third one will be at Fort Smallwood Park, September 23rd. You can go to aacounty.org/riverdays for information. And my hope is that we will do even more of these next year, and that in this county, which has the Patapsco, the Magathie, the Severn, the South, the Weston Road rivers, and the Patuxent River that goes all the way up the west side of the county, we're practically a peninsula, almost an island with all of our rivers. We want our residents to have access to be able to not only get to the edge of the water, but even get out onto the water and learn more about the water. And so this is something that I'm thrilled that we're finally moving forward on. So back to you, Renisha.
Thank you, Mr. County Executive. Like we always do, please put your name and media affiliation in the chat, and I'll call on you in that order if you have any questions for the County Executive or Asha. All right, Dana, Roman Monroe from the Capitol.
I have a question for Asha. The job that you described sounds similar to the one you have already. Is the difference that you're going to have more staff helping you out, or can you tell me a little bit about some of the differences between the work you were doing and what you will be doing?
Sure. So in terms of the position that's vacant, that's the Assistant Director of Equity. What will happen is that the person who's going to fill that position will have the capacity to deal with some of our more quantitative work. It's going to be heavily metrics driven. They'll be doing evaluations and assessments, and really helping us to execute our strategic plan. On my side of the house, I'll be focused heavily on the compliance side of the office. I'm not sure if you're familiar with some of the fair practices agencies in other jurisdictions, but we are looking to model ourselves after some of those fair practices agencies. Obviously, we're just starting. We don't have the budget or the resources at this time to have a fully expansive operation, but we are looking to have some of the legal compliance capacity, in addition to the capacity to do the training work and some of that quantitative work. So that would be the distinction between, my position and the other position. In terms of what the office will be doing, there is a difference to the extent that we'll have more capacity to do it. I do think that you hit the nail on the head when you said that there'd be more staffing. We've spent the last 2 years really establishing the needs of the office, the priorities for the office. We definitely had a vision in mind in terms of being able to do some of this compliance work, but it requires a lot. It requires investigations to be done in a timely manner. It requires policy analysis. And so we will have increased capacity to do that.
Can I ask a follow-up?
Sure.
Sure, go ahead, Dana.
For obviously this work requires a lot more staff than is available now. What will we do with the one investigator? Will they work on just the most dire situations that need investigating?
So the good news is that I have an extensive background doing these investigations. Together, the investigator and I will be doing the fair housing investigations and some of the county's EEO investigations. We do have plans to expand our capacity in that arena, but they do involve some federal support. So, we're taking it year by year. In year one, we'll see what our capacity is, what the needs look like. We'll track the volume of complaints that are coming in. We were able to do that over the last 2 years to know that we actually need a full-time dedicated investigator.
Mhm.
And if our needs increase, we will collaborate with the federal government to secure funding to increase our capacity. There are ways to do that. There are agencies known as FIPAs, FIPS, and FAPS that do some of this enforcement work on a local level. And so we would be looking to acquire that status if the need arises.
Great, thank you.
Sure.
All right, thank you, Dana. Any additional questions from media on the line? All right, seeing none, that's a wrap. Thank you all.
Thanks.
Mhm.